everyone take a moment to like stretch. I always love a good wiggle before you do a meditation because it moves any of the stuck energy that you might have, where we tend to like constrict unknowingly. And then kind of positioning yourself where your hands are like in an open, receptive, relaxed position, not clenched in any way, that your shoulders are down and back, that your tongue is loose in your mouth, and that you take a slow inhale through your nose with an open mouth exhale, sigh. And as you do that, you kind of let everything sink and relax. And then maybe again, an inhale through your nose. And then an open mouth exhale, sigh. Surrendering, releasing. And one more on your own. And as you settle in, I'm inviting you to an intention of openness, surrender, and trust. Where intimacy with oneself is beauty and power. Breathing that in really deliciously. Letting it fill every cell and every organ. And as you allow your breath to become really calm and natural, allow it to go in and out through your nose. You're going to imagine a beautiful chalice above your head, a couple of inches. This is the chalice that holds the wisdom of your Akashic field. Seeing it fill with the beautiful silvery golden molasses light. Becoming aware of the warmth and soothing energy of that. And on your next breath, you sort of imagine this chalice spilling over onto your head and down through the center of your form and your body. Moving through your forehead, filling the inside and the outside of your form, down through your throat like a glittering honey, down through your chest and your spine, to your belly and your hips, your thighs and your calves, and then, of course, down through your feet. And as this energy flows through you, it flows through you down to the center of the earth, connecting you home as the seed to which we came. And see that chalice endlessly flowing, giving you, filling you with limitless, perfect remembering. So see it now as a waterfall through the center of your body, moving. Take a moment just to drink that in. The peacefulness, perfection, safety, oneness, love. Imagining now your consciousness or your form becoming smaller and smaller to where there's this throne in your heart center that you sit in your kingdom of this beautiful golden honey light, this tube of light. And maybe your throne is ornate. Maybe take a moment to perceive that. If there's anything that jumps out. But see yourself there, feeling home in the seat of your heart. Like the womb of a mother. Deeply cocooned in your tube of light. Taking a moment now to observe your tube of light and perhaps extend your gaze to the walls of the tube, looking out into the energy field of your physical body. Like 3 to 6 feet around your whole body. Take a little walk and a gaze at anything floating that looks tight, compressed, energized, dense, hard, bubbling. You might see these like floating meteors or knots on a string. I'd like you first to just take a moment to observe. It might be a thought, may not be a visual. What does it look like? Reminding you that you are safe from inside your tube, looking at this thing. And this thing represents a part of you that is unsettled, that is asking for transmutation. Meet it with kindness. Perhaps engage just for a moment in a staring contest where you breathe deeply and say, I see you. I love you. Just for a moment. And perhaps this thing has something to say to you. Perhaps this thing says, I'm stuck. I want to be free. Let me explain. Let me explain why I exist. And so become a great listener now. And take a moment to just receive a message, however small, that this thing has for you about why it exists. Staying really present and non-judgmental. Thank you can be your response. I see you can be your response. I love you. Take a moment to understand. In that, you might feel separation. You might feel fear. You might feel emotion. There you are in your tube of light, and here's this thing floating, calling energy to it, not in unity with you. You might ask this thing if it is ready to come home. Is it ready to come closer to heal? You might immediately feel a response around that. The idea of perhaps you stretching your arms through your tube, feeling the proximity between you and this thing get closer, you may notice a feeling about that. Pay attention. You might ask, what is it going to take for you to return home? The tube of light. As you're close enough, maybe inching closer to this thing, what is it going to take for you to return home to the tube of light? Wait for the answer. And if there's any part of this thing that is ready, you may wrap your arms around it in a hug and slowly bring it into the tube of light. And as it moves through the field, the barrier from the fragmentation to the honey, it changes shape immediately. It becomes something else. It starts to dissolve, becomes the substance that glitters, that swims and unifies. And if there's any part of it, however small, that is willing to break that barrier and to return home, take note of the wisdom that it has turned into. The pain now has a lesson, has a message, has a strength. What is that? Breathing slowly and mindfully. And as your arms hold this thing and it dissolves and swims and integrates, it's as if now you are supercharged. It's like, wow, there's this new wisdom I know about, that I swim in, that I enjoy, that is me. And if there's still a large piece, or maybe the entire piece of that fragmentation outside of your tube of light, is it closer than it was before? Whatever it takes for that to get closer is something you'll want to know. What does it take? Maybe there's information for you to follow after this meditation. But very importantly, to look through the tube at the thing and affirm, I see you. I love you. and you are welcome home anytime. I am here. And it feels good here. Within your tube, you see the world as love. You see experience as growth. You see pain as power. And you take a moment to twirl or roll and snuggle with the energy inside your tube of all that you are and all that you've grown and all that you've gained in this lifetime and all lifetimes. With the awareness that you are every day bringing home a piece of yourself, that you are patient and loving, being willing to do and become what it is in order to be fully integrated. Breathing deeply here. Savoring. Imagining now this version of you sitting in the throne of your heart, expanding back into the version of you that sits here now. Recognizing that everything that you've experienced in this meditation is within your own heart center. All can be remembered. And allowing the chalice to turn upright so that your tube is permanent, but also grounded, where you can now function in this form. But leave the drip, yeah? Leave the drip. Maybe even more than a drip. You decide. In your body where you are, we're going to do 3 deep breaths to bring ourselves back into this form. Big inhale through your nose. Open mouth, exhale, sigh. Next, inhale through your nose. Rubbing your hands on your thighs. Keeping your eyes closed until the last moment. One more breath in. Keeping your legs being touched by your hands. Last exhale, opening your eyes. Maybe stretching, moving your head around, coming back in to the space. You feeling grounded? You can put your hands on your crown and just push a little. You can also rub your hands and you can put them on your face, or you can rub your legs if you feel loopy. Because I feel like we were just somewhere else.